To Ashraf Laidi, CEO of Intermarket Strategy, joining us live from London. Mr. Laidi, thanks very much indeed for your time. So what do you think? Is the US, is the world saved from disaster? What's the position?
What is the world? The world itself is a less of a safer place than it was 2 years ago, including the US. What I mean by that is what is the alternative? The much talked about AAA debt rating in US government bonds, they account for a third of the AAA rated bond universe around the world. So even, and we think that the US will get a downgrade. That will not be the end of the world, not only because there is relatively not that much a greater choice out there. We saw when the Japanese bonds had a downgrade in the 90s, it was nowhere near the end of the Japanese bond, or their interest rates did not soar higher. So apart from the argument that there is not much else to go the other argument is that the United States has the privilege where it can continue to print money to repay its debt. Obviously, that would be to the advantage of gold and to silver and so on.
Okay, so that's a kind of the official backdrop to it all, the sort of scientific side to it, if you like. But can you put it into layman's terms, what it means for the man on the street, for the guy on the street in Delhi, in New York, in London, wherever? What would it have meant if it had gone wrong, if it had gone over the precipice and plunged down it? And what does it mean now that it hasn't come to that?
Yeah, if it had gone wrong, that would mean that the U.S. would have the default on its debt, and that did not happen. If that happened, interest rates would go up, and it would drive the cost of car loans, house loans, and so on. That did not happen. But we do think that there is going to be a downgrade eventually, because the solution is very short term. So what the man in the street has to worry about right now are really those people who are reliant on the handouts that the Republicans are wanting to cut, the discretionary spending. You know, 1.3 trillion with an additional 1 trillion to be cut, and they don't want to touch the tax hike. So that could be the problematic. What's going to happen to the water that you drink, to the electricity, to the security, and to the hospitals? And these really could be the high-profile issues that are going to be talked about around a year from now during the elections. This is not going to go away. Yes, yes, they have managed to tell the credit rating agencies to stop them from doing a downgrade, but this is going to revisit us in 3 months' time and in 1 year's time.
Yep, problems far from over. Ashraf Laidi, appreciate your perspective on this. Thanks a lot.